Welcome to my little urban garden oasis. Here's a tour. Good morning. Today is Wednesday, May 22nd. And Joey's going to get underfoot while I try to give a garden tour. Unless I let him in the house. Come on. Come in. Come on. You want to go in? Come too. Fake. I've been meaning to give you a garden tour for a while now, but it's planting season and I'm still not done. So let's just give you an update because it was a month ago. And those are the peas at the back door. Look how much they've grown already. They're getting a little wild. And then this pot over here is dill from the front. It was all volunteers I put in this pot because I didn't want to kill it as I put in the tomatoes. And a spallied mulberry tree behind the wood pile. And this is all pine that I trimmed the bushes in front, you'll see. And the fig tree is leafing out quite nicely. There's a clump of leaves at the top, clump of leaves at the bottom, and a clump of leaves at this branch. It's growing kind of strangely, but we'll let it do its thing. In this pot here, I had the delphinium in. It looks like I have one more little delphinium here, and this looks to be a carrot. Red vein swirl is about ready to go to seed. It's putting up some flower spikes there. Garlic chives, sunchokes. I still haven't potted up these peach trees. I'm collecting pots. My neighbor gave me some, but I don't have enough yet. So, garden phlox and horseradish. And I got a couple wild black raspberries growing up through the woodpile here. I painted all the furniture. This table is broken, but it's nice next to the grill here and the fire pit. I got more peas here. I transplanted some of these out along the fence, you'll see. And then this tree is definitely dead, so I'm just going to use it as a trellis for the peas this year. And then I'm going to rip it out. I'm going to put one of the peach trees in here, I believe. All right, and then over here, these two little pots, I got two different kinds of corn in it. I got sweet corn and glass gem corn, and none of it has sprouted yet. So I don't know if I'm going to be planting corn. We'll see. And here's the bed of potatoes. It's doing really, really well in this cold frame. Crazy. And it's going to be hot and 80 all week. So the rain barrel is already almost at half here. And the goldfish is hiding on the bottom because it's hot for him. And this garden bed that fits the other cold frame is doing really well. The center is all arugula. It's all arugula. And I found that it was coming up as volunteers all over the garden, so I decided to contain it in here. All right, the back row is all strawberries. And then in front here, I've got comfrey, which is about ready to flower. And don't worry, it's not the crazy kind that plants seeds everywhere. I think it's called bocking. So the seeds are sterile. So it can flower. It divides by, you have to propagate it by division. And then chives, lemon balm, oregano, red vein sorrel, mint. Marigold started from seeds. Zinnia started from seeds. Garlic chives. And this is going to be basil, but it hasn't sprouted yet. And I have a couple seedlings. I'm going to try planting a seedling in here instead. And then we've got this container of cucumbers. Now I've transplanted some of these out. I'll show you where I've put them. And I still have to plant those. And Joey's catnip is right here in the corner. It's slowly coming back. It's taking its sweet time. Joey usually curls up over here and takes a little nap. Well, the thyme is doing very well. Thyme is flowering. And then I've got some parsleys from last year that have come back that are going to seed. So I'll save the seed from that. Excuse the shadow. It's only 8:30 in the morning here. Almost 9, quarter to 9. There's some more parsley. And then this is that succulent that I have growing around the pool, the sedum that's about ready to bloom. I'm gonna pull it out of here. It seems to like it here. The problem with this bed here is, if you look up, my gutters leak. So I need to get up there. I don't think they need to be cleaned. I think they just need to be painted with some Flex Seal. But I'm afraid to get up on the ladder by myself. So in the meantime, we're working with what we've got. Now there's a grape here that I was hoping would climb up, and it's been struggling. So I have a feeling it's because of the water situation here. So I'm gonna work with it. What I did is I planted beefsteaks. These are beefsteak tomatoes. And what I did is I moved all the dirt to the back of this bed where it doesn't splash down, and planted them in that. And then in front, I piled compost. So I've been composting in this bed for a while now, excuse my shadow, to build up the soil. So that's why this little green plastic edging is here. I've been building up the soil on this bed because it was mostly sand, because that's what the bricks were put down, the pavers were put down to build this patio. So I've had to build up the soil here. And it seems to be working. So let's see if these beefsteaks take off, because what I'll do is as they grow, I have this old carport for the patio that I've got string lights on. So I'll tie some mason lines and train them up the mason lines. All right, and then we've got a bunch of rogues growing over here. Excuse my shadow, but you can see these rogues. These are all Jerusalem artichokes. And I ripped a bunch of them out. So I will keep them from going to seed because they pop up everywhere. Be careful of Jerusalem artichokes. Yes, they are zombie apocalypse food, but the problem with them is that they will spread, okay? The little rhizomes underneath will spread, and also if you let them flower, the seeds will spread and start new rhizomes everywhere. So if you leave a little piece of it, it comes back. I've got another water barrel here that I've been tapping into. We're not supposed to have any rain this week, and it's going to be in the 80s, so I'm going to be watering. A little columbine. Lunaria. This whole bed has a bunch of lunaria. Now, it was full of purple flowers a couple weeks ago, and I didn't get out here and give you a tour then, so you missed it. So what you see now is the seed forming. And I did a whole nother video on how to peel it and make those beautiful silver dollars for dried arrangements. So I'll let those go. And in the meantime, the roses are starting. So see the rose, there's rose buds, and I've trained it up. Okay, so there's like a little arch pathway here. And then below the red roses will be all these little yellow primroses. So it'll be a sea of yellow and red. I have roses on both corners. And then here's my greenhouse that I rescued from the dumpster. There's not a lot of stuff left in it. I've been trying to plant. Okay. These are my peppers from last year, and it looks like there's a black walnut tree that a squirrel planted in there too that I have got to pull out. But these peppers I don't think are going to come back. And then the eggplant, the one eggplant. So I was about to start the front yard tour, and I turned on the pool filter. So hopefully you can still hear me, because I missed two beds, this one and this one. So let's go show you what I got going over there. And in the meantime, we got to watch out for Joey, because he doesn't like when I don't give him all the attention. He's standing next to the totes. Hey, Joe. He was standing next to all these totes. Okay, what I did with these milk jugs, water bottles, anything that was clear, I used to cover the tomatoes. And that's what I've got in here. Now they're little. They're really teeny tiny. See, look. Look how little they are. They're smaller than Joey's head. I told you he was going to get underfoot. Now what I got growing in here is a bunch of weeds, a bunch of arugula, a bunch of chamomile. I pulled out a bunch of the chamomile and I planted it along here because look at this chamomile was so happy that I decided where all these little stones were on the edge, I was going to plant more chamomile. So that's going to be a whole row of chamomile. And in the back there's the garlic. In the back here is spinach and carrots that have come up. Rogue lettuce. A little rogue lettuce. And look at a little rogue potatoes. There's the tomatoes. They're babies. And they'll get big and they'll fill up this whole cage. Now these cages are awesome. These cages were from my neighbor that passed away. An old Italian gardener. Oh, Joey's getting into mischief. An old Italian gardener made these, okay? So they were probably 20, 30 years old when he passed away, and I've had them for at least 10 years. Looks like all he did was wrap a couple cattle panels into a circle and then tied them up with these little twists. And they work so well, I use them every year. So this is my little keyhole bed. There's those peppers and that lettuce. And Joey just goes wherever he wants to. His little cat food don't do any damage. And he brings me little mice and little bunnies. Keeps them from eating stuff. The only thing I haven't uncovered yet is these 2 little peppers. I only have 2 little jalapenos, so I'm going to have to see either buy some starts or something. There's another comfrey getting ready to go. Red vein sorrel. These are Egyptian walking onions. And then back there is all strawberries under the peach tree. I've got some peaches, look. They're starting. I have some peaches this year. Hopefully they'll be good. So this is the keyhole bed. I just dump compost in the middle here. Compost is the walking path. And then I've got all the cages and keyhole. And then this is the first bed. Remember those little tiny peas I showed you? They're halfway up this trellis already. Look at, and they're starting to flower. Look at, they're all starting to flower. All right, and then a little patch of salad. I actually harvest some. Oh, excuse my shadow. I actually harvested some for a sandwich the other day. And then I've got some more spinach and a couple of, we'll see if they come up. That's broccoli rabe. I planted a whole row of broccoli rabe, but it looks like I got 3 plants here. 4, maybe 4. We'll see. And then this is purple auroch. Volunteers that I put over here next to the salad bed, and another volunteer chamomile. And then these 2 big sticks. See these 2 big sticks? Those are from the hazelnut tree in front. I'm going to use those to support these 2 tomatoes. I have 1 grape tomato. And then on this side, which gets more sun, is the big beefsteak. All right, so let's go around the front now. And I don't mind this bin and this bucket. That's where I harvested the onions from in front because they all bolted. So I harvested them. I actually got some good onions out of them. I fried up some with some mushrooms and sandwich steak and made a nice Portuguese roll yesterday for lunch. And I used that bucket to move the compost from in front. Showed you the dill already. So I have some, they're just starting to fade now. A lily of the valley. And a couple of irises here. But they don't seem to do well in this spot because there's not much dirt on my side of this chain link fence. and the neighbor doesn't weed whack, so I get a lot of weeds up in here. And I borrowed my neighbor's weed whacker at the beginning of the season, but you could see it's all coming through again. But I'm trying a couple of experiments along this fence, okay? And here's the first one. Down here, I planted a cucumber. And it doesn't seem to be doing anything, but I keep giving it a drink of water, and I'm hoping that it'll find this chain link fence, and I'll have some cucumbers here. And then as you go farther down, I also stuck in a couple of peas. So here's one. And these, I believe, are sweet pea flowers, because I told you I was battling that. Here's another one. I was battling that bittersweet vine. I'll show you what I did to there's another. I was battling this bittersweet vine. See, look. And I broke down, and I found some old weed killer in the garage, and I broke down and I used some. So that's why I'm only planting flowers here, because I don't want anything edible. Already had cancer once, don't want it again. So I got sweet pea flowers growing. And they took over here, but the batch I put over here didn't make it. And I think it's because of the weed killer. See? So, a lot of weeds. So eventually, hopefully, I'll be able to make flowers grow along this fence. Now, if you look closely, they're starting already. See these? Oh, let's get it in line here. There. Joey. Joey's underfoot again. Say hi, Joe. He doesn't like when I give plants attention instead of him. Okay, those are morning glories. Those are those purple morning glories, and those will, in fact, climb up the fence. All right, so let's go back in front now. Oh, car going by. Irises are starting to bloom. Now, somebody, or a bird maybe, got that one yesterday. So that one's on my kitchen table, and it's blooming, and it looks beautiful. But they're all starting. All the purple irises are starting. Down here is some yarrow. Down here is little Joey. In my shadow. More ways than one. I put some columbine in here, but I'm not getting a lot of it. Here's one. That's a lily. I've got some sunflowers, but I also have some sunchokes. And there, see those spikes coming up? Oh, Joey! See those little spikes coming up? That's the one hibiscus that I loved. Lily of the Valley. Red clover. Clover's about to start. Look. Isn't that pretty? It's about to start. Some more yarrow. These are my Montauk daisies. Let's see if I can. Oh, look. A ladybug. She's pretty. So those are Montauk daisies. This is garden phlox. Here's my rose. Garden phlox. Here's a different kind of iris. Isn't that pretty? Pale purple and yellow. Some clover in here. This I just planted. This is the delphinium I started from seed left. And then I have an edge in it with the succulent phlox. Phlox that I grew. Those are daffodils that are done. Some died back, some columbines. And I've got a lily here that's just starting to come up. And there's Joey laying a pounce. What do you think, Joe? Are you going to pounce on me when I'm not looking? Better not. Look at how beautiful these irises are. Look at, I'm holding this camera at chest level. This iris is as big as me. Isn't that gorgeous? It's absolutely beautiful. Amazing. Alright, let's see if I can walk back past Joey without getting trampled. Now we'll just go into this stuff instead. I got some columbine here and some yarrow. And then this is my blackberry. Blackberries are all starting to bloom. I have a neighbor that walks by and fills her face with my blackberries without asking. She doesn't speak English. I asked her if she spoke English. She said Albanian. So she's Albanian. So I'm going to have to learn how to speak about Albanian to speak to her, I guess. There's some more chives, wild violets. I let this bed go wild. So you see a lot of grass in here. Irises, wild violets. All right, but I'm also planting more blackberries. So eventually this will be a hedge of blackberries. I didn't say hedge, I said fetch. Fetch is food hedge. So in the meantime, I'm letting it just kind of go wild with the irises and the primroses. And look at this volunteer chamomile. Well, I shouldn't say volunteer. I probably planted the seed there at some point. I just don't remember. There's another blackberry started. And I do have to get after these. Those are more Jerusalem artichokes that I haven't gotten out of here. And then this one over here on the end is a wild black raspberry that I pulled out a bunch of suckers off of. And I got to trim back some more. Now those berries are absolutely delicious, but it's a wild plant. And it comes up everywhere. Look at it, I'm going to get a lot of berries. So it's very difficult to control, which is why I have it on the very far edge of my property here. And I might have to dig some more of it out. And then I've got a bunch of lilies here where Joey's getting into mischief. He wants my attention so badly. All right, let's go this way. Lily's not looking. All right, I got the wild violets on the end of this bed. Now this section of the bed where I have these low ones, these low cages, I haven't planted anything yet. Actually, I take that back. I planted onions and none of them survived. Or maybe if one or two of them did. In this section they did survive, so I left that. And then over here is all tomatoes that I just planted yesterday. So they're teeny tiny. See them? Now what I did here, I have the cages in the middle, but there's 3 rows of them. So I'm going to do like my neighbor does. I give him seedlings every year and he just plants them in a big bunch with no cages, no stakes, no nothing. So I planted intensely like that this year, but I put the cages down the center. So I figure if they spill off into the grass or into the path, I could tie them up to the center cage. So this should be my main production for sauce. These are San Marzanos and Amish paste tomatoes in this whole section. And on the back side of this bed, the flower bed, perennial flower bed, this is my lupines that I started from seed. Look at, I'm going to get a flower. I'm so excited. See, look at that one there. And look at this one's just about ready to start. First time lupine. Another columbine in there. There's the rose. I've got some spot on this rose. And I don't see any buds yet, so maybe I'll look at this with some miracle grow. I do have a little bit of miracle grow. I don't usually fertilize anything. My garden's 100% organic. It's like lazy urban gardening. When I started gardening, I says, what can I do for free? And so that's how I pretty much roll. So we'll see what I can do with that. And here's Joey again at my feet. He's got his tail curled around my leg. All right, Joe. Okay, baby. I love you. All right, here's the back side of those daisies and phlox. And then this is my echinacea. It hasn't sent up any flower spikes yet. It's early. And this might be a mighty weed. Huh, Joe? Is that a mighty weed? And there's a rogue arugula. And there's a rogue Joseph. All right, do I have to put you in the house? Don't attack my legs while I'm walking around, please. All right, there's a lily. Those are daylilies. That's a daylily. And more yarrow on the end. And these are either black-eyed Susies or Jerusalem artichokes. I think these are black-eyed Susies. We'll let them go for a little bit and see what they do. All right, now this bed here was a sea of daffodils. All right, what I did is I cleared those out. When I showed you the greenhouse and I showed you all those bulbs hanging, that was just some of this bed. All right, look over here. These are all daffodils. These are all daffodils. And I let them flop over around the apple trees. So they've overgrown here, so I need to probably dig up some more of these. I planted these daffodils when I planted these apple trees, okay? What I did is I had a circle of chives and then a circle of daffodils. So the daffodils took over and killed out all the chives. And then they've continued to grow. And then in front of that, I've got some irises. There's a couple of them ready to pop. And then this here is my persimmon tree, which the apple tree is shaded, so this sucker is pretty stunted. I'm trying to get it to grow up through the apple, but it's not cooperating. It's got another dead branch here, unless these bulbs are swelling. I'm not quite sure. Well, let us see what it does. I'm reluctant to give it any more trimming. Trim the apples around it instead and see if I can salvage it, but it's got some green growth here. It's got some green growth here, so we'll see what it does. And then this is my butterfly weed. In the end, I didn't finish cleaning out over here. There's some more grass growing up in this bed that I've got to get out. That's why I did this, is because the grass was encroaching. So I edged this whole thing all the way around. And then I planted some things in here and moved stuff around. See, there's some more of those daffodils. And then in front of that is a row of irises. And then in front of that is a row of columbine, which is suffering a little bit. And then I've got a lily here. And then these were the pansies that I started from seed. And I don't know if they're going to do anything. And then I threw down some marigold and zinnia seeds in here to see what those will do. And then this is a nasturtium that I started from seed that's not looking too happy. Because when I started it on the back porch, a wasp came in and I sprayed the wasp with some wasp killer. And I got this plant, and the plant did not like it. So, lesson learned. Don't spray your plants with wasp killer. And then I threw down some more marigold and zinnia seeds over here on this edge. This is where I ripped out all those daffodils, except for that bunch. They were that thick all the way around this other apple tree. So in the middle, I've got garden phlox. And then in front of that, I've got some yellow primroses. And then, like I said, I threw down some zinnia and marigold seeds, which look like something's coming up, so we'll see. And then this is my flying dragon. There's some huge spikes on that, so you gotta be careful. But I did have a couple flowers down here, so I have to keep an eye out to see if I get a look. Yeah, right there, see it? Let's see if I can get closer without poking myself. Oh, no, I can't see it. There it is, right there. Anyways, you're gonna have to trust me if you didn't see it. Okay? There is one little round ball I saw. Alright, let's turn around here and show you my swing. Now, I put my swing over here because this is a nice shady spot, huh, Joe? He likes sitting on the swing with me. He's like, what's going on, Mom? Who are you talking to? I don't see anybody. That's my little cozy spot in the swing. I got a bleeding heart here that's just about done. And then this is stuff that I pulled out when I was ripping out those daffodils. It looks like, I forgot, I looked this up, what that is. and some yarrow. And then I've got peonies here that are just about to start. And then this is one of those evergreens that I trimmed out the bottom of, that I used all that pine to mulch. And I've got pachysandra under here. I've got another bleeding heart over here. I've got a rogue tree that I've got to dig up over here. And then on the side here was a sea of daffodils too, and now I've got a sea of hostas. So at some point I'll come through with the mower and mow this all down, because it's right on my neighbor's driveway here. So it must be annoying for them, so I'll mow, get it out of their way. And this is my hazelnut. Now, I have not been real successful with hazelnuts. Okay, I picked some last year. I did have some nuts, but they were small. So I don't know if I picked them too soon or what. But last night I put in a sunflower over here. Oh, let's see, where'd you go? I put a sunflower in there, down there. Something eat it? Did something eat the sunflower already? Maybe. Or is it that? I don't know. I might plant some sunflowers around here because I figure I could use the hazelnut tree as a support anyways. And then around the other side of the hazelnut is my gooseberry. I got some berries starting, see? That goes all the way back there. To the front of the bed now there's a clump of grass and some of those succulents. This whole section here I've got to weed out. I've gotten a lot of it out already, but the corn that I started I was going to put here, but I don't know if that corn's going to make it. So if it doesn't, I might put sunflowers and amaranth here instead, because if you look this way from going down the street, the tree and the blackberries creates this beautiful arch. And I just mow around the circle. So this edge I want to cover. And it's like the secret garden back here with a swing. Huh, Joe? What do you think, Joe? All right, let's see. What else could I tell you about here? No, the apple trees are doing well. Look, I got some fruit starting on this. There's one. My neighbor usually sprays these trees for me. But yeah, the arch is so cool. Natural arch. See? Just the blackberry going up and the apple at the top. Look at all that fruit. Now some of this fruit will drop naturally. The tree won't support it all, so it'll drop some of it, which is fine. And then here's another project that I got, is this bed here. But before we do, let me just show you, I potted up a couple of gooseberry babies. I started from my girlfriend Danielle. So I got to get over there. Now I told her I didn't know if they were going to fruit this year, but I thought I saw, yeah, I did. Look at, it's going to fruit. There's couple little berries on that one. This one maybe not. That's just the marigold I planted in that pot. It wasn't doing good in the back, so I put it in the front. This is the north side of the house, so it's shadier over here, which is a perfect spot for the swing. And I've got bleeding hearts on both sides. Now that one's much bigger than this one, because this one, oh, there's a phlox, a rogue phlox I gotta get out. This one was covered with pachysandra, so it got stunted a little bit. But the way I planted these is the downspouts are right here. So it gets lots of water. They like lots of... Joey always finds little shady spots to sit. Of course, he really wants my attention today. But my battery is about to die, and as I was editing this video, I realized I lost my last bit of footage. So let me just go back over here to where I was showing you the bleeding hearts. So I have two, and this one I had to clean out from the downspout. I had all pachysandra. So this is my next project, is I got to redo this bed. But you can see I trimmed up the little pines, and I used all that pine as mulch. And I've got phlox and goldenrod, and back there is a black walnut tree that I got to dig out. And my climbing rose, which has a dead branch that I've got to trim. And I tried to get it to espalier down this railing and broke off a piece. But I do have some buds on it. I am going to get some roses. They start out little pink buds and turn into big white cabbage roses. And then I also have a hydrangea in here, which is hit or miss if it blooms. Looks like I will get some blooms on it this year. If you look at the top, looks like I'm going to get a couple of blooms this year. And there's a bittersweet vine I got to pull out. And irises. And I want to get rid of all this Pachysandra. And maybe leave some of this lily of the valley. And so that's it. See, look at you. We found another little shady spot. Close to Mommy. So him and I say, thanks for joining us on our little garden tour, our little oasis. We hope you have a wonderful day. I'm probably going to go climb up on that chase lounge I built now and enjoy the sunshine floating in the pool. Have a good day.
Joey says,
Please
please subscribe.